I have DraftKings contributor Geoff Ulrich here with me. We're going to talk about the Charles Schwab, but first, Geoff, we got to talk about Sunday. Phil Mickelson won the PGA Championship, oldest to do it. He was number 115 entering this past week's PGA Championship. Following Sunday's victory, he's up to 32nd in the world. That is his highest ranking in nearly 2 years. The environment was electric. What did you think of him pulling off this victory?
Oh no, it's up there with the most amazing sporting accomplishments ever. I think you can definitely pair it in like that. You've got a 50-year-old winning one of the most major sporting events in the world. It's absolutely incredible what he accomplished. Just from the perspective of where he did it from. This is a player who wasn't even in the top 100 in strokes gained tee to green. Came best of the field on the toughest golf course that we've seen all year. Absolutely crazy scene. I loved every second of it. It was something to see. It just from a personal perspective, it really kind of put like the emphasis that sports are back, having the fans back there. It was incredible. But in terms of history, Phil, cementing himself possibly as like a top 5 golfer ever right now. He had the unfortunate distinction of going against Tiger his whole career, but it's just a special thing. You're just not going to see many things like this happen in your lifetime.
All right, let's move ahead into PGA pin placement, Geoff. So where do you think these golfers will finish at the Charles Schwab Challenge? And this can be arranged. So let's talk about defending champ Daniel Berger. Now, he won in 2020, but unlike a year ago, the fan grandstands will be back on the course in 2021. So some angles may not be available this time around. Where do you think he finishes this year?
Yeah, I don't think it'll matter too much. Colonial's a pretty, closed-in golf course anyways. So you've got to hit a lot of fairways here. The Colonial just sets up as a really prototypical Daniel Berger course as well. A par 70, a bit of a longer par 70. It's just been his bread and butter since he's been on tour as well. You look, he's got 2 wins at TPC Southwind. It's a little bit easier scoring conditions this week as well. Berger kind of struggled when he missed a few greens last week. He hit the ball fine though, and I think his form is fine. 2 weeks ago, he was T3 at the Byron Nelson, another event in Texas. I'm going to pencil Daniel Berger in for like a T8 here. I think he's going to have a very strong week. Like I said, I think a little bit easier scoring conditions helps a guy like Berger. He can really get the putter rolling as well. And he's really done nothing to suggest that he's just going to all of a sudden start playing poorly. This is a guy who's got 8 top 10s in his last 22 starts now. So give me another top 10 here for Daniel Berger.
All right, how about Collin Maurico? Where do you see him finishing?
Yeah, I'm even good to put Maurico a peg higher here. This is a player who lost here in the playoffs last season to Daniel Berger, coming off just a really nice end to the PGA Championship, ended up finishing in the top 10. It was a bit of a backdoor effort. Obviously, he was the defending champ there, but Maurico is an elite iron player, and we've really seen his irons just be super consistent this year. It's just a matter of, does his putter show up? If he gains 3 strokes on the greens, he could easily win this event, but I'm going to pencil him in for a top 5 because I think, again, this is more of a second shot ball strikers course, and there's nobody better in this field with their irons than Collin Maurico. So does he finish T15 and just has a really bad putting week, or does he finish top 5 and has like an average putting week? I'll put him down for an average putting week because he sure looked pretty good last week. So I think big things here for Collin Maurico for sure.
All right, how about Corey Connors? Where do you think he's going to finish?
I don't want to be super bullish on all these guys, but these 3 players are very well suited for Colonial. Corey Connors is a nearly identical player to Collin Maurico in the sense that both these guys are probably top 10. In Morikawa's case, he's definitely top 5 with his irons. In Morikawa's case, he might be the best iron player in the world, but Connors is right up there with him. This is a dude who we've seen compete. He was obviously first round leader at the PGA Championship last week. I'd like him to contend this week. So I'm going to have to throw him up there with the top 5 too. I just don't see any scenario here where Corey Connors necessarily takes his foot off the gas. It's a player who's gained 5 strokes on approach in each of his last 3 starts now. It's just super consistent off the tee. All he's got to do is just gain a couple strokes with the putter. And we see the putting stats flip for guys all the time. We saw it with a couple players last week. So I'm going to peg Corey Connors for a big week as well. Put him down for a T5.
All right, well, what about Joaquin Niemann? For a while there, he was looking pretty good at the PGA Championship.
You could throw Joaquin Niemann in. There's really not much. These are 4 of like the more elite young players in the game here. I'm going to throw Joaquin Niemann in for more of a T20. he has been less consistent than these other three guys. So we got to draw it back a little bit, because I can't just give everybody I can't give the top 5 placings here just to the first 4 players. But I think Niemann, again, I mean, is his bread and butter is his irons. I mean, much like Connors, much like Collin Maurico, he just doesn't bring it as consistently. It feels like still trying to maybe figure out a little bit of the consistency. And also his short game can let him down to the point where, he'll make a couple double bogeys or something like that. So would I be surprised if Joaquin Niemann also got a top 5? No, but I'm going to pencil him in for a T20 just because, again, you look at how consistent guys like Morikawa and Connors have been on the approach and how much of a second shot golf course Colonial can be. And then you look at Niemann over the last little bit, and he just hasn't quite lived up to that type of consistency. So I'll pencil him in for a top 20 here. But again, really good setup for Joaquin Niemann.
All right, what about Jordan Spieth finally? Where do you see this guy finishing?
I can't really peg Jordan Spieth for anything less than a top 10 here. This is a player who has dominated at this event over his career. He's obviously got a win here from 2017. Even just going back further, Spieth has played well at Colonial, quite frankly, when he hasn't been playing well. A Texas-born player, but he likes these shorter courses a little bit more as well. And you look at more comparables as well. Like he got his first win at the John Deere Classic, another similar sort of shorter scores course. Spieth's got top 10s here from the last 2 seasons when he was out of form. That's pretty much all it needs to tell you about how much Jordan Spieth likes this course. He's coming in, hitting the ball well too. He didn't have the greatest week last week. So, maybe we'll pencil Jordan Spieth in for a T10 just because I do like Connors. I do like the form with Corey Connors and Collin Maurico a little bit better, but it's really hard for me to pencil him in for anything less than that when he was playing so poorly the last 2 years and still managed top 10s at Colonial. So expect good things from Jordan Spieth this week, even if he doesn't win the event.